G'day guys, welcome back to Reach Me or Teach Me. It's time. The juice. Say no more. Let's go.
I think people have completely overlooked the fact now that he was clearly the best running back of the 70s.
His legs.
So if you sort of realize that he's the best running back at a time when the most important part of the offensive game is running the football, I think you could easily argue that O.J. Simpson is the most valuable player of the 70s for the entire league. Every time he ran the ball, it was almost like the Bills' equivalent of throwing the ball deep. It might not work, but if you made a mistake, they would score.
You know, when you're fresh in the game, early in the game, you got a lot on your mind. You're thinking of the game plans, you're thinking of things that you saw, because you've been watching it on film all week. As the game goes on, you get tired and you stop thinking so much and you start reacting. It's like putting things in that computer. You just push a button, you get the ball, and you go.
I feel like all of this... Oh, sorry, I'm shaking the camera. I feel like all of this footage is slowing down, like it's in slow-mo. I can't get a feel for how quick he was. And he, like, motion-wise, he looks very stiff in the upper body. He's like, his legs look like they are just incredible pieces of machinery. They look super powerful, these big long strides. But I'm trying to gauge if he was quick or not. He doesn't seem like he's over the top athletic and agile. It looks like it might be an early take. It might be a sort of a more power-driven running style, but again, the footage isn't really giving me much.
I've seen footage of O.J. Simpson running the football dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and I can't, for the life of me, even remember the number of the guy handing him the ball. He had no element of surprise. He had no passing game to sort of change the way defensive played him, and he was incredibly effective.
Very upright.
He was not going to play in a Super Bowl. There was no shot. So he has this game on Thanksgiving where he rushes for 273 yards. Proof that the best football player in the world is just sort of being wasted on this team going no place.
On Thanksgiving 1976, Buffalo's quarterback completed 4 of 21 passes for 29 yards. O.J. Simpson ran 29 times for a then single-game record 273 yards in defeat.
I tell you, they're behind on the scoreboard, but you get the feeling they've won something here today.
Yes, sir. Get him.
The playoffs eluded Simpson in 10 of his 11 seasons. Jim Brown's single-season rushing record did not. In 1973, playing a 14-game season, Simpson sprinted for a staggering 2,003 yards.
14 games. That's way more than is normally played, isn't it? Why? Jim Brown, funny they mention it, because that of all the players that I've reacted to so far, he's the one he reminds me of the most.
Gaining 2,003 yards in a 14-game schedule is substantially more impressive than Eric Dickerson's best season, or Barry Sanders' best season, or Terrell Davis's best season.
Top 10 Heisman Trophy winners. The first one I think of is O.J. Simpson.
1968 Heisman Trophy winner O.J. Simpson was more than just college football's best player.
1968, was that before or after Al Bundy won it?
He was the biggest name in the game.
They talk about Tebow being the biggest college football star of all time, and I've always said O.J. Simpson was the biggest college football player I remember.
Came out of Southern Cal. It's just all that. He had everything to make him that guy.
Every time O.J. gets his hands on the ball, his entire crowd comes to his feet.
It's a bit better, get a bit more gauge for his speed.
It was like your defense was in mud. They couldn't close any gap between themselves and him.
I think you could easily argue that O.J. Simpson is the most valuable player of the 70s for the entire league.
The man we are watching tonight is one of the great athletes of all time. Many say the greatest runner who ever carried the football. His name is O.J.
O.J. isn't a guy that anyone can look at as the same, obviously, in his post-football life.
Anytime you see the name O.J. Simpson, you cringe. But if you were looking purely between those lines
there we
on
go.
the field and what he did, you have to acknowledge he was a phenomenal player.
I am surprised that O.J. Simpson is number 3.
All right,
What did O.J. ever win?
Let's go.
Nothing. Didn't win national championship in college, correct? Didn't win
I reckon it's just because he's got such a long stride that everyone else's legs look like they're moving quicker, but he's just powering with his stride. Because, again, he does not look explosively quick, but no one can catch him, so he's got to be quick enough. And I just think it's a visual, glitch in my head because his legs are taking so long to complete those strides. I don't know. What was his 40? What were those sort of numbers?
Super Bowl at the NFL level. I'm putting Marcus Allen ahead of him. I'm putting Tony Dorsett ahead of him. Tony Dorsett, touchdown! I'm putting guys who won championships ahead of him.
The Buffalo Bills select as their first choice in the first round halfback O.J. Simpson, University of Southern California.
When you draft a Heisman Trophy winner, you expect him to be big, fast, and strong.
If you were to mold a running back and say, be like this, O.J. Simpson would be that running back.
You even expect him to break records.
O.J. Simpson, who just set a new National Football League record.
But you don't expect him to rush for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season, which is what the Juice did in 1973.
It's probably the most remarkable single-season performance by any running back in the NFL.
O.J.
Pretty cool.
Just remarkable every time he handles the ball.
He finished 859 yards ahead of the number 2 rusher. That's like winning a race, crossing the finish line, and the other guys are barely at the halfway point.
I just wonder if the three of us at this moment fully realize what it has been our great privilege to watch O.J. Simpson run.
What's the best snow game of all time? I want to watch a snow game. What is the best snow game of all time?
For 2,000 yards in one season.
That is really dark. Why is that so dark?
With an on-field resume as good as they come, O.J. Simpson firmly sits as our number 3 Heisman winner.
When you talk about what he did in college, you could put him at the top. When you talk about the Heisman Trophy winners in the NFL, I mean, he's still pretty high.
O.J. Simpson as a runner is as great as anybody. I mean, Jim Brown could pull you over. Barry Sanders might have had crazier moves, but I'll take O.J. over any man who's ever done.
Yo! Jim Brown might have bowled him over. Barry might have had some crazy moves. But I'd take O.J. over any man who's run the football. Whoa. Whoa. Hear that again. No,
I mean, Jim Brown could pull you over. Barry Sanders might have had crazier moves, but I'd take O.J. over any man who's ever done.
Next member of the running back class is O.J. Simpson. The 1973 NFL MVP became the first member of the 2,000-yard single-season rushing club. He was also a 5-time All-Pro selection.
I know for a lot of people who will be watching this show, they'll know the story. But he was America's hero. I mean, he was on all the commercials. He was the guy that was front and center for the National Football League. So this was a pretty stunning fall from grace, right? But I'm going to talk just about football for a minute because 2,000 yards in a 14-game season is off the charts. And in my mind, there really was only one player that you could really compare him to, someone that size, with that amount of wiggle, with those moves and that speed, and it's Jim Brown.
Tremendous speed, tremendous acceleration. Not a hard hit.
Do you know how proud of myself I am right now that I made the Jim Brown comparison early on?
Hitter as such. But the track thing and the football thing was kind of like his MO.
Hello, this is headquarters.
Hey, baby, what happened? What it is, man? What it is? Sing it. What's going on, man?
Music is everything.
Wait. What? Is it this guy? Yeah, what the hell is this guy here doing? Number 33 in white. Okay. That's the 10. He's standing on the 5. What are you... Like, he made no attempt at all to be in between the play and the What the fuck is that? Surely the coach just killed him. What the hell? Am I making a mistake there? Was there some reason that he did that can be justified? Because that looks like the worst piece of business I've ever seen.
Music is everything.
I just wonder if the three of us at this moment fully realize what it has been our great privilege to watch O.J. Simpson run for 2,000 yards in one season.
All right, that was pretty good. I like that. Like, weirdly enough, like, this might sound really crazy to the Americans listening. So I was born in New Zealand, grew up in New Zealand as a young child, and then moved to Australia. And Australia is a lot more Americanized than New Zealand is. So the only, well, my introduction, the only way I knew O.J. Simpson at all as like a 8-10-year-old, 8 to 10-year-old, was from the Naked Gun movies with Leslie Nielsen. Like, I didn't even know he was a football player at all until I moved to Australia. And yeah, anyway, the rest is history. But like, it's just crazy to think there's a whole world outside that, of the United States there, that would not have known O.J. Simpson was a footballer. They'd have just known him as an actor in Hollywood. Crazy. I just find that crazy because you guys would have been like, oh, OJ's a football actor. Nah, he's not an actor. He's a footballer, right? And we'd all be going, what? Footballer? Huh? Bloke's an actor. I've seen him in movies. Anyway, that's just my waffle. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you got some more players you want me to react to, don't forget to drop them below. Don't forget to subscribe, all of that stuff. And hopefully we will see you in the next one.